Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's your girl Shanice, and if you are new here, make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. Also turn on your bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. All right, so with that introduction out of the way, I'm going to dive right into Squid Games. Now, if you are not new here, then you know I already made a video talking about Squid Games when season 2 came out about a year ago. And honestly, I don't know that much has changed, but we'll talk about season 3 because I did go in and I got to watch season 3. Um, I'll start off with all the good stuff, and I just want to say you should have already seen it, but this is going to be full of spoilers to some degree. So if you are spoiler averse and you haven't watched the show, this is your moment to pause and watch it and come back. And then let's talk about it. And I really want to hear your comments, especially if you agree or disagree. I want to hear your comments. I want to see them. So make sure you're commenting, liking, and sharing, and all that good stuff. All right, so let's get into Squid Games. So for those of you who just maybe you don't know, you haven't heard, Squid Games is the global phenomenon that took the world by storm as a Korean TV show that premiered on Netflix. You all would know from past videos, but I've been watching Korean dramas for well over 2 decades now. And so I can speak a little bit about them, okay? And so one thing about Korean shows is that normally there is some level of censorship, which I personally did like. I loved that Korean shows were censored because you don't you could watch it with your family, you know. I could turn on the TV, my mom's watching, everybody's watching. I don't have any issues because I know what's coming. Like I know to the degree of, what I can see. Like they have good censorship. There is some times when, some things maybe didn't need to be censored, but I personally am okay with the censorship. Now with this evolution to having streaming platforms and the streaming platforms sponsoring some shows and creating the shows, obviously that censorship is gone, and things are getting quite a bit westernized, and I don't know that I'm here for it, if I'm being honest with you. One thing that made Squid Game the global phenomenon that it is that, it was a lot of people's first exposure to Korean dramas. And, it was a really great concept and it wasn't censored. And I think that really took the world by storm. And now we're seeing Korean dramas in dub, English dub. Yes, this is a thing that's happening, and we're seeing multiple seasons, like with Squid Games. And it's just a lot of the things that I did not like about Western dramas are coming into the Korean drama world. And I'm just, you know, um, I, I've talked about how I felt about this. I don't know how you all feel. Maybe I'm taking it too far, but I think there's space for both of them, honestly. And obviously, you can choose what you're going to watch and what you're not going to watch. Now, with Squid Games, one of the biggest things I will say about it is that the cast, like just the caliber of the actors that the show had, just is immaculate. Like they had some of the best and most decorated Korean actors on the show. And someone like Lee Byung Hun, Western audiences know him from different movies he's done in Hollywood. But he's huge in Korea, and there are other big Korean actors in the show. I mean, we had Gong Yoo in here. Just yeah. So they had a lot of characters and interesting personalities on there. I mean, we had T.O.P., who was previously a member of Big Bang, in here, Choi Sung Hoon, and his character was inarguably one of the biggest characters from season 2. So you could see in season 3, they tried to call back to all of those characters and, make references to even season 1 characters that we obviously were not going to get to see otherwise. Um, so that's the good things I'll say about Squid Games is that it really did serve as an introduction, and it did bring so many people into the world of Korean dramas, and making them aware that this is a thing. I have said this many times. I do not like Korean dramas having multiple seasons. When you look at how many episodes in total, Squid Games was about 22 episodes in total. This could have been one show. It could have been one season. It did not need to be dragged out. Um, I think Western dramas lose a lot because of their multiple seasons and the degradation of production quality and plot over the seasons. You can't see a show and say, oh, season 2 was better than season 1. That's so rare. Like, think about that. That's so rare to find, So obviously, having to do multiple seasons is going to cost you in the quality of the plot. It's going to cost you in audience attention. Like, the world as a whole loses attention and focus easily. So it's going to cost you. And I think that was reflected here. By the time season 3 came around, I don't know that anybody was like as emotionally invested as we were when season 1 came out. And now they're talking about a spin-off. And I think we're good. I don't speak for everyone, obviously, but I'm cool off of it. I don't know. The only reason I would watch a spinoff is just to talk about it with y'all. I even the only reason I watched season 3 was just to say that I did, and because the last time when I made a video about Squid Games, you could say, oh, Shanice, season 3 hadn't come out. It's come out now. So, if you go watch that video again, you'll see the things I said still hold up. And, I feel like this show, if we're talking about what actually happened, I mean, it ended. I'm trying to find something good to say because I recognize that so much work and effort and energy went into this production. Is just why did we go this route? There were so many inconsistencies that just happened because it needed to end, and it needed to end a certain way. I think, the director and writers felt like the only redemption for our main character was his own death. And maybe that's true, maybe that's fair. But it just, whenever things like that happen, I'm just like, okay, so this whole time he's been fine. I feel like it was not concluded as well as it could have been. The reason I say that is when you think about, the different characters, we see, the character of the baby daddy, right? He's so smart. He's so strategic. He's figuring these things out. And then he's stupid enough to not turn on the timer so that the deaths count properly. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it just, it felt like even when he killed off, one of the important characters that was shielding his girl and his child, and he's just going around killing them for, just to kill them. Now he's just a killer. He's killing them so the other guy doesn't have to kill them. That doesn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. At the end of the day, it just felt like they just wanted to kill these characters off, and they just wanted to end the game like this. And now, the front man, Lee Byung-hun's character, he now has, belief in humanity, and like, what is that? One thing that I cannot just wrap my head around is that this guy, our main character Ki-hoon, he has a child out there in the world. He does, like, genuinely, he has his own child, and just he's just giving her money, and that's instead of being a good father. So he's gonna be a good father to this unborn child. Honestly, it was a mess, in my opinion. Maybe some of you might have found it beautiful. Let me know. I'm trying to find the beauty in it. I'm trying to find the redemption points in it. And I just didn't find any at all in 22 episodes. It felt like, wow, this could have gone so much better. There are really good Korean dramas out there, way better than Squid Games. And it just felt like, as something that just brought so many people, I feel like it should have gotten a better send off than it did. As far as the plot and the characters that we all saw. But, I guess where we got to see, player 246 and his daughter, and she's healed, and that was a bright spot for us. It was his, salvation storyline, but the storyline of the brothers, anyways, let me know. Help me. Help me. Help me, please. I need to find something to say that this was a great show. But like I said, I give it the props that it deserves for all the exposure that it's brought to Korean dramas, and, you know, all the different Halloween costumes that it spawned, and all the different things that have spun off of it. And, how do y'all feel about them doing a English, English show that's based off of Squid Games? Let me know. Anyways, thank you so much. I love you guys. Bye.